Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. My name is David. Today's video is about borderlines as a request from someone, a subscriber. So I wanted to get into the aspect of borderline personality disordered people that will exploit you in such a passive manner you may not see it coming. You may not see it. Borderlines are the kind of the children, right? They're the traumatized child. And I've made other videos about how they parentify their victims. And I think this is very obvious. This is massive childhood trauma that they've never attempted to heal from or try or can. And they can exploit people very easily with a very victim identity. And they become kind of helpless in our minds. And they become dependent on us. And we allow it to happen slowly over time. And I just want to show a couple scenarios how this may happen. Kind of give people an idea, or maybe some of you will say, oh yeah, that can happen to me. I've talked a lot about financial abuse is, profound in emotionally abusive relationships. It's almost 100%. And if there's financial abuse, it almost always starts, it's always the first kind of abuse. It always starts right away, or at least the first kind of abuse. So I came up with two scenarios, a borderline girl and a borderline guy. And I'm just going to kind of lay out how this exploitation happens and how it's passive and how it happens. So first one is a guy dating a girl. The girl is borderline. So soon in dating, and don't forget, love bombing, future faking, idealization, borderlines, hormones, they can't regulate them. So when we meet someone we like, or all of us, our hormones are woo, right? And we idealize the other person. It's very common for all of us to do that. I mean, how else can we go tell people that the person we met 2 weeks ago is so amazing if we don't really know them yet, right? So we all idealize to a point, but boy, do borderlines idealize. You are the greatest thing ever. I love the way your hands are, your arms, your skin, the hair on your arms, the way you move them, how tan you get, the color tone you get. I mean, they'll just go on forever, won't they? But what happens is this girl lays out the whole story of her tragedy, okay? So now her life is a tragedy, and she's going to explain to her victim how tragic her whole life is. And let's just say mom abused her whole life. She has a roommate that hates her. She has massive physical disabilities, she says. So her hands hurt. Let's say she says her mom made her do all kinds of work when she was a child, overworked her, abused her, and she has hand problems now, and her hands don't work very well. Amongst other things, she has got a bad knee and feet and, whatever. So the bad happens. The bad happens. She loses her job. She comes up with a scenario how it's not her fault, the people hated her, the coworker blamed her, didn't do it, all right. Loses the job. She's freaking out. She tells you, my roommate hates me and told me to get out, kicking me out now. I can't go home. My mom used to beat me my whole life. I don't know what to do. You've been dating a couple months. You really like her, you really trust her, you offer her your place to stay, temporarily, right? She's so appreciative, so thankful, oh my God. And then the future faking really kicks in, right? We're going to be so great, we're going to be so happy, let's make this house your house. Can you mind if I, do things to it, and it's okay, and, After some time, she becomes dependent on you. She says, I'll go get another job soon. And you say, well, I want your hands to heal. She says she lost her job because of her hands. They hurt for the work she was doing. And then you say, oh, well, let your hands heal first and then go get a job. After a month, 2 months, 3 months, it's hard to say something to someone. Hey, go get a job. You know, you hint, you say, how are the hands now? She says, oh, they're okay, but they're always going to hurt. You go, okay. Then she brings up, you know, right when you're going to go talk to her about getting a job, she brings up this bad fight she just got in with her mom. My mom called me all these horrible names. Oh my God. She evades employment. You soon begin to see how helpless she is, or at least the picture she painted to you. I can't take care of myself. I can't go anywhere. I can't get work right now. I have no money. I could be homeless. My hands, my knees. So you're taking care of this person. Say a guy's taking care of her. And she'll say things like, I don't care about getting my hair done or my nails and expensive jewelry and clothes. I don't care about those things at all. And she dresses down and looks like she doesn't really care about things like that. And trying to make you feel better about taking care of her, that hopefully it's not costing you too much money. Well, that's all great. You don't care about your hair, nails, clothes, and jewelry. But guess what? Guess you had to go to the hospital and you have to pay a $5,000 hospital bill. Or 6 months to a year of expenses taking care of someone. You see? And then you get to the point where she talks about getting employment, and then she says, I get anxious. I get so anxious. And so you get in this position where you realize she's totally dependent on you, and you don't know what to do. Kick this person out that you love, you want to be with, you know, and you excuse the no work with physical disabilities that really you don't even know exist. But there's no resolve to anything. It's like, if you have physical problems, let's go to a doctor and take care of it, see what it is, you know. You got problems and been abused by your mom, you probably need some counseling, some therapy. Maybe you should stop talking to your mom if she's so highly abusive that she keeps talking to her and fighting, and then poor me crying, you know, nervous breakdown whenever it's convenient. It's exploitation. She's exploiting that person. It's bad, and that guy may never see it happening till it's over, till he's out of it. Just a scenario I wanted to come up with to show you. The other one is a guy. So let's say this guy is an artist. This artists are great people, but that career path, as most artists know and most of us know, it's hard to come across money. You may do a lot of work and never get paid, right? So what happens all too often, and being an artist, for artists, they need to be creative, and you know, they need space and they need time, and you know, it's tough. It's tough for artists to be creative and still grind it out every day, you know. But let's say the guy's an artist and he puts feelers out there all the time for women, and he comes across a potential victim who's unhappily married, right? So major idealization, major love bombing, major future faking. He's a real dreamer. Borderlines are just dreamers, man. Pipe dreams. They'll talk about the future all day long. They'll tell you, when you hear them talk about their future, you'll get exhausted. You're like, I can't believe anyone could do all that. While they've done nothing for the past 5 years of their life. But they have all these huge plans. So, what happens basically is he sells her as a successful artist, and then starts telling her things like, my ex-wife never let me explore my creativity. No, your ex-wife made you get a job. But he, his narrative, poor me, victim. I was in unhappy marriages where my wife just wanted me to do this and this and this, and never respected my work, never cared about my passion, didn't care, nothing. And now I finally found someone who cares about what I do. And, you know, real common with borderlines is everything is about them and their dream. And everything becomes this guy's dream, right? So she leaves her life for him, promised for an amazing future. They move to, say, a location that allows him to pursue his dream. So now she's moved even to another city, Hollywood, New York, whatever his artistic endeavor is. And he'll say things like, I can't be bothered with work and bills, etc. I'm an artist. You know, I think this situation is pretty common, actually. What happens with both? What's happening? What's happened? Both victims gave all their thought, all their attention, all their money, all their care and their love and all their time into someone else and never anything about them. They completely lost themselves, who they are. Everything became the other person. And it just will. If you pay attention to someone else's problems, someone else's life, someone else's interests and likes and dislikes and needs and wants, so much like this all the time, you can't possibly think about your own. And victims of narcissists and borderlines and sociopaths, we're willing to do that. We think we were trained and taught to do that. Then we find out it's like we have a child completely dependent on us. And I think that in a way, it meets the emotional needs of the victim to feel needed. You know? Like this human being really needs you. I have to take care of this human being. What will they be without me? I say it like borderlines a lot of times. What you'll end up doing is you feel like you're holding their head like this. And if you don't, you let go, they're just going to fall straight on the face every time. And big bad things will happen, not just hurt your nose. You know, I'm talking fall on the face of life. So we don't do this, right? I mean, I talk so much about beginning of relationships, how we need to keep our autonomy in relationships, our autonomous self. It's so important. And I totally stress this, guys. Keep finances separate, big time. And there needs to be reciprocation in relationships, emotional needs. And I'm not saying that one person can't be a breadwinner. I'm not even talking finances. I'm saying emotional needs. If you're paying this much attention to somebody, your emotional needs aren't being met. There needs to be reciprocation. There needs to be time talked about what you do and what you like and what you need and what you want and how you feel, right? It's exploitation. And it's very passive. It takes time to build this up. And the people that exploit aren't always completely aware of it. Some of this stuff isn't as planned as it looks or it sounds. These are people that you know, especially borderlines, they'll future fake with you, but they can't plan anything, not reasonably. They don't look into the future like that, you know. They're so reactionary and respondent. Anyways, I hope this was an interesting video. Like I said, someone wanted me to make this. I've actually had a couple people talk about things like this. So if you have any other scenarios, love to hear them. And tell me what you think. Thanks, guys. Love yourself first, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.